Now, I'm very happy to introduce Harmony Holiday, joining us from California. And Harmony is a writer, a dancer, an archivist, a filmmaker, and the author of 5 collections of poetry. Hello. Okay, here she is. Of poetry, including Hollywood Forever, Facebook's 2014, and the forthcoming MAFA for Facebook in April 2022. She curates an archive of griot poetics and a related performance series at LA's MoCA, and a music and archive venue 2220 Arts that she runs with several friends in Los Angeles. She has received the Motherwell Prize from Facebook's the Ruth Lilly Fellowship, NYFA Fellowship, Schomburg Fellowship, California Book Award, and a research fellowship from Harvard. She's currently showing a film commissioned for LA 2020-2021 and working on a collection of essays and a biography of Abbey Lincoln, in addition to other writing, film, and curatorial projects. Thank you very much for being with us, Harmony. And Harmony will read some poetries and texts that she wrote especially for us. And then we will also listen to an audio file that she also created for us. Thank you very much, Harmony.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Yeah, I'm excited to be here and loved what I caught of the last talk. I'm actually going to read like an essayistic, semi-poetic passage I wrote, thinking of the idea of the biosphere versus the technosphere from the standpoint of music, and specifically falsetto, and specifically how falsetto operates within Black music and language and poetry, and also within the body. So I'll just read this. I called it The Body's Falsetto. Here are the rhythmic convulsions of shaking you off. They enter the body through the voice, or the cosmic voicings of tremble and fold, and the fractals we observe in the forest find their sound through the tender but violent occupation of the Black body. This is tradition. Black is nature's hiding place. Black is nature's stage. Night creatures rule the day. We supersede ourselves to access our meaning, to shake off our use. Don't ask our meaning, ask our use. The biosphere is privatized too. Corporations buy land, water, and air in order to reserve the right to work or pollute it, to work it or pollute it. And before this, they purchased Black people in order to make the land more profitable through the use of their unpaid labor. The purchase of your likeness as data is renewal of this land, a new slave experience that does not require forced physical labor, because it derives value through the mining of the patterns of your desire as they express themselves in the virtual world. What does this have to do with singing, with music, with the exhausted and escalated pitch called falsetto? Trapped between the biosphere and the technosphere, music is a sole device we possess to liberate both spheres and all crypts they carry and insinuate. Music is the body becoming invisible to see itself anew as tone. It belies system and structure. As Amiri Baraka points out, all songs are crazy. One of the most terrible effects of various civilizing efforts that humanity subjects itself to is a professionalization of almost every impulse. To professionalize is to rationalize. And that requires that even songs become so self-aware that their ability to migrate between states of consciousness is compromised, lifted, falsified, calcified, and too material. We return to the body as spirit, which even when stolen and programmed with another's ideas cannot be truly separated from the subconscious. So the truer songs begin as dance and movement and gesture, efforts to shake off this residue and over-explanation. And we have to look to those now as a digital world and the so-called natural world attempt to blur human anatomy with that of machines. Microtones we call gifts are the body singing in the digital world and teach us how to use fragmentation to our advantage, using the same principle at play when we isolate specific muscle groups in dance. But in this case, we isolate movements and gestures that expose vestigial muscles and capacities, superseding what attempts to limit and exceed us. And no machine has the eye for this. It's a Black imposition on the received language that makes it new and incalculable and forces it to sing and dream of the very sensuality it was invented to exclude. One moment through the gift of the body's falsetto can drag and lilt for eternity. I have a gift, my favorite, of John Coltrane bowing like a jester in front of his family's station wagon during a stop on a road trip. A whole new personality for a man often accused of unintelligibility and fixation on transcendence and the supernatural. Here he is mundane and charming and charismatic without his instrument. In the next frame, Josephine Baker wears a skirt of bananas and spins her eyes into a frenzy in an infinite loop, making fun of her audience. Gifts resituate the audience in relation to the performer so that in order to be a spectator, you have to interact and also perform by using these units of motion, which are always the roots of a song you either discover or succumb to through these manipulations. Unfortunately, for those who hope to stop a pivot, who hope a pivot to constant interfacing with machines and devices will numb out human sensuality and make the mind easier to conquer as it drifts farther and farther away from the heart. The tenets of Black music, which allow us to turn almost anything into what Rahsaan Roland Kirk calls the missing Black notes, apply to this technosphere also, and we have flipped it. What meant to exile the body is now full of bodies and bodies of evidence that become false high sounds that expand the language and music so deeply that now we will never run out of patterns to explore and undo there. It's as if we've been given a whole new visual and tonal language by the same instrument that thought it would initiate our muting. The body's helpless singing belies everything imposed upon it ultimately, and ultimately it will be the machines retreating to watch themselves in this Black mirroring. Slave genes. The first time he uses the term, I laugh, because he acts like he's bragging after a risky medical treatment. He assures he's not worried. He has slave genes. I say, exactly, following orders when you should have investigated what they were doing to your body. He corrects me, no, slave genes means they can throw anything at you and you'll flip it and survive it, come out stronger. Some kind of mutant power of the Black mutation, I say. Lately, he's been dead. I think the biomedical world is more of a threat to consciousness than any technosphere because it can still feign benevolence and no song intervenes. When those fears team up and try for microchips and geo-tracking on a mass scale, we'll all need the glitches and gifts we can dig up to survive. We'll need all the glitches and gifts we can dig up to survive it. So that's all. I was just gonna play a quick audio clip of Dick Gregory speaking, if there's time.
Doing some basic research to find out, one, the origin of sickle cell anemia was a sickle-like shaped cell in the blood that guarded Black folks against malaria. And when we were brought to this country and got on the high grease, high starch diet that we're on, it created problems, which was once a protection. And so the millions of dollars we fixing to spend to counteract sickle cell, if we would spend a little time doing some research and change the diet, because if most Black folks knew that soul food was taking 30 to 40 years off of their life and almost charging them a third of their salary for doctors and what have you, a lot of sicknesses we die from we wouldn't. And I think the important structure of the Black man's health, be it sickle cell or anything else, lies basically with the diet, because you are what you eat.
Thank you. We now have an on-the-air call from Cincinnati, Ohio.
All right, thank you. I don't know if I can take questions, but can also just make space for the next panelist.